What's going on, folks? I am Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy, and welcome to this very special whatever this is I'm doing. I Yesterday, the New York Giants, along with the rest of the NFL, released their schedule. And I am here with Jeff Knapp, the Giants writer for the Sports Insanity Blitzers. Jeff, how you doing today?
I am doing excellent. I'm excited for the season to start. I'm excited for uh training camp, mini camp, in between camp. I'm excited for the beginning of football season, even though baseball is in full swing.
Pun intended.
I'm excited. Every spring. What's the terms? Hope springs eternal. So I'm very hopeful for this coming season. Um, I have a good feeling going into this. I'm very optimistic.
Now,
Not Super
before
Bowl bound optimistic, but I am at least winning record optimistic.
But you know how the Giants are. We're optimistic, and then our hopes and dreams are destroyed and buried in an urn.
Yeah.
And but anyway, before we get to the schedule, how do you think the Giants did in the draft?
Oh, I'm loving what they did in the draft. Um, I I'm excited to see what Abdul Carter is going to do. I'm hoping he's a
I
big
am
old
too.
wrecking machine. Um, I'm fine with Jackson Dart. A lot of people had him as the third quarterback coming out of the draft anyway. So he was the second quarterback taken. I guess there was some controversy amongst some fans of who should have been taken when we entered back into the first round. And yeah, I don't care about their feelings on that. Honestly, don't. I am very happy. It is what it is. And uh, the one guy that we took little later in the draft, that running back,
Scatterboo.
Scatterborough, he looks like he can be a utility man, a utility guy to help us out. Um, and I've heard nothing but good things about him so far. So, I'm excited. I'm excited. How did you like the draft?
I think they did a pretty solid job. Abdul Carter, I'm happy about. I
Yeah,
was saying they're going to pick either Hunter or Carter, and they got Carter.
yeah,
Carter, which I'm very thrilled about. And I think he's going to be I think he's going to be good for the defense of Cam Scatterboo. I think he's going to give us some juice in the run game that we desperately need in the post Saquon era.
yep, exactly.
And Jackson Dart, I'm happy. I,
Yeah,
I'm happy with Jackson Dart. Like, okay, can you and I just agree on we're so glad they didn't get Shedeur Sanders?
yeah, I'm completely fine with it. The narrative around it is something I really don't want to delve into because it's kind of a sensitive topic for some snowflakes. But
Jeff,
um,
you could tell me off air. Sound good?
100%. But I wish Sanders a great career. I
I wish
hope
him well too.
some of the things that they said happened during the interview and leading up to the interview. I hope he pulls himself. They had the same basic idea about Chris Carter, the great Hall of Fame wide receiver, and I love Chris Carter, and he had a great career after he got everything together. Plus Sanders, and just like everybody else that got drafted, is a young guy, and maybe if he came off a little arrogant, you know, I probably would be too if my father was primetime Deion Sanders
Yeah,
and
listen, he
the
annoys me.
coach of my team. But I don't hate the guy. I have nothing against him. Um, he's just at first glance, just looking at him physically, he looked like not as big of a physical presence as Jackson Dart. Maybe they could be the same size, but Dart at least comes off as a bigger looking human being than Sanders. And almost like in the same vein as what's his name out in Carolina, the quarterback there.
Bryce Young.
Yeah. So, maybe I don't know, but either way, if I hope he stays healthy. I hope he has a good career in Cleveland, which he probably won't stay there forever. I'm sure once his rookie contract is up, if he gets a chance, I'm sure he'll be out of there because it's Cleveland. Wants
It's
to deal with their
Cleveland.
winners, you know. Um, honestly, I thought that Sanders was going to go to either Pittsburgh or Miami. To be honest with you, I figured with Tua's injury, where he gets injured like every other play, it seems like. I thought that would have been another good fit for him, especially with their wide receivers that they already have there. I you know I you know I just I did assume at one point that the Giants were never going to get him anyway, because I figured he was going to go number two at one point, and even if he and then I said, okay, we're going to move up the draft and maybe get him later or possibly in the second round. But then I thought Cleveland might take him in the second round with their pick. So I had like a loose prediction of the Giants getting him anyway. So it is what it is.
Well, yeah, so I think they had a good draft,
Yeah.
and but I don't want to get my hopes too high, Jeff. You know what happens.
Yeah, you can't. And at least Abdul Carter has a number he can he can have now, because he tried to get um, LT's number, he tried to get Phil Simms' number.
Like, come on,
Uh,
show some respect. Show some
yeah.
respect to this organization.
And I'm hoping the third round pick, Alexander, that they got, the defensive tackle, I hope he can put some pressure up the middle too. We'll see what happens. So we'll see.
Uh,
Every draft they always redraft the draft a few years later anyway. And you never know. How many guys came out of college and looked like the next big thing, only to be the next big bust? And how many people get picked in the second, third, fourth, and fifth round, for instance, and have great careers? You never know.
Tom
From
Brady,
Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, George Kittle, um,
Aaron Rodgers before he went
Aaron.
crazy.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was still in the first round.
Oh yeah, he
Like,
was still in the first round.
yeah. Cam Chancellor. Um, who was another first further in, part of the Legion of Boom in Seattle. Smart guy I think he went to Stanford, the cornerback. But anyway, a lot of guys went in the second and further round and had great careers. For one reason or another, they got drafted late. So you
Okay.
never know. You never know what could happen. But
All right. So
it's go
we
time. So
let's do it.
yep.
All right. I'm not gonna lie to you, Jeffrey. Your legal name is Jeffrey, right?
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I am not going to lie to you. This is a tough schedule. Okay. Week 1 against the Washington Commanders. Jeff, talk to me.
Oh, are they at home or in Washington?
They're in Washington.
Ugh. I I think this is I unfortunately I think the Giants are going to start off with a loss.
I actually think so too, to be honest, because of Jaden Daniels, who has been awesome.
Yeah. Another guy that the Giants tried trading up for in the draft. 2 years in a row, the Giants tried trading up in the draft to draft a quarterback, and it didn't work out. They tried trading up for Jaden the previous year, and this year they tried trading up for Cam Ward. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think in Washington, I think Giants are going to lose. Okay, week 2. This is for old ops guy. Dallas, in Dallas.
I believe that the Giants are going to leave Dallas with a victory.
I think so too, because you know what? Because the Cowboys, new coach, they're gonna still have that new coach bugs to work out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think maybe the Giants defense can take Dak for a little ride.
And if they can stop if they can get pressure on Dak Prescott and take away CD Lamb. If they take away CD Lamb, that's going to make it a heck of a lot easier for them.
So I think, with the right pressure, I think they can win. Okay. The home opener, Sunday night football in Kansas City against the not three-peat Chiefs. But we all need to ask the most important question, Jeff, and you know what that is?
What will let's see here. I have no idea what the Chiefs bring to the table. Who's the special guest of the Chiefs usually? Who could that be? It wasn't Pee Wee Herman. It wasn't George Papard. It wasn't Fred Sanford. Hmm.
For the sake of this joke, we all know the big question, Jeff. Is
Yeah,
Taylor Swift gonna be there?
she could be. She could be welcomed in New York. Um, you know, I can't stand her music,
To
but
me,
it's
there
fluff.
are some songs I do like from her. I do.
Yeah. I just hope Travis Kelsey has that rockin' mustache that makes him look like a failed high school college uh teacher.
I'm just gonna say it. I think the Giants are gonna lose this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd say oh yeah, definitely, but any given Sunday. But as they say, but yeah, sure, the Chiefs lost last year, but until they can prove that they can beat Patrick Mahomes, you know,
Can they beat
I gotta
Brady
give it to the
2.0? Can
yeah,
they beat Tom
I
Brady
gotta give it
2.0?
yeah, well, I gotta give it to the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too.
And
Okay, the next week against the Chargers.
I I gotta say the Giants could win this one.
Really?
I mean, what have really the Chargers accomplished?
They made the playoffs last year.
Overall, yeah, but overall, they haven't made it deep anywhere,
No, that's a fair point.
you know. I mean, they could win. I think this could be a toss-up game. Um,
Because does
I'm gonna
does
say but then they have Harbaugh as their coach, and he's one of my
yeah.
favorite coaches coming from Michigan because that's my college team right there.
I have a feeling that the Chargers are going to outcoach the Giants.
It's possible.
So I think the
And
Chargers are going to win this one.
yeah, this is a toss-up one. It's that's a 50-50 one I make for me on this one.
All right, Jeff, what are you saying?
Oh, as a fan, I'm going to go with the Giants. Having them I think coming off, especially if, yeah, coming off a loss to the Chiefs, they're going to come back in one way, shape, or form. They're
No,
going
I
to
can
either
see that.
come back, coming back, from the loss to the Chiefs the previous week. They're going to either come back with a chip on their shoulder from getting beat severely, or knowing that if they do lose, maybe they lose by a field goal, knowing, hey, we almost beat a multiple time championship team. We almost beat them. we got to go out there and prove that we can beat another playoff team, and they go and they beat the Chargers.
So I'm gonna, and you want to know what the funny thing is like literally tonight while I was getting ready for this, my brother texted in the group chat that I'm in with him and a few of his friends, asked me if I wanted to go to this game, but we can't because the some of his friends got something that weekend. So yeah, but no, I can see what you're saying, but I actually think Harbaugh's gonna outcoach Gable.
So you got the Chiefs or you got the
The
Chargers on
Chargers,
this game.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Next, we're going to the Big Easy against the Saints. I think the Giants can pull this out. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, because right now, going into that game, all the Saints have at their quarterback is Spencer Rattler. He hasn't shown anything in yet. He hasn't had the real, he hasn't had, you know, enough opportunity, I guess. They got some great weapons on the outside, though. That's going to be a thing. If they can protect Spencer and he can get that ball, they have some great weapons. I mean, they have Olave. They have forget the one dude's name. And I showed one of my good friends is a Saints fan, so I should know the guy's name. The other wide receiver they just took, and the running back, utility knife guy who can catch, run. But it's going to be, if they can get to Rattler and rattle his cage, then I got the Giants. But if they just let him get back there and dump it off to their receivers, it could be a long day because both those guys are barn burners.
So, what you
But I'm
saying,
gonna
win or loss?
overall, I'm gonna put faith in the pass rush and say the Giants are gonna win this game. And they're
I
gonna
think they're
have
going
a
to win this.
yeah.
I think they're going to win this game too. Okay. Okay, everyone, please grab the nearest wastebasket to throw up. Um, the Giants and the Super Bowl champion, the defendant, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, come on, I just got over food poisoning. I don't want to throw up again. Um, and ironically, I got it in Pennsylvania. So take that, Pennsylvania. Um, okay. Jeff, talk to me. Can we just be brutally honest
Can we
here?
just skip this game and hope it never happens? Like there's a
I like
blizzard.
that. Let's do that.
Oh, because we got to be realistic and know. I until they can prove something to me, which they haven't proved anything yet. I mean they're the defending champions of a big game. I don't even want to say what game they won. It makes me sick. Um, but yeah, so I think that the Eagles are unfortunately going to be victors in this game.
Okay, the quicker we talk about it, the quicker it's done.
Yep, it's over.
Okay, next in Denver. To me, this is a tough one because Denver can either be hot or cold.
This could be an interesting game if they're going to be in Denver with Wilson coming back to Denver. He knows how to play up there. Didn't have the most success there, but he knows how to play. Bo Nix showed he's looking like he's the real deal up over there. I don't want to say the Giants are gonna. This is going to be a little bit of a tough stretch for the Giants. These 3 games. I I think Denver's going to pull this one out. I really.
I disagree.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, but
I actually think the Giants can pull this one out.
Now, my mind may change within the season, seeing how they play, but with
Yeah,
nobody
folks, keep in mind,
showing
it's May.
what they can do yet.
Keep in mind, folks, it's May.
Yeah.
A lot can happen between now and then.
Hmm.
So keep in mind, folks, it's May. But I think the Giants can actually win this one
Yeah.
because Denver could either be hot or cold. They're kind of a mixed bag.
This
So
could be a toss-up game for them. Even though I have a feeling Denver might pull this one out, but you never know.
that is true. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 weeks later, we're back to Philly.
I think that unfortunately, I think unless something happens and throughout up into the season up to this point on paper, I'm going to assume that they're going to get swept by the Eagles.
Unfortunately, I think so too. Okay, next, San Francisco at MetLife.
I I I have a good feeling about this one. Um, because one aren't they having an issue? Aren't the 49ers having an issue with one of their receivers? Or is, I'm not remembering things sometimes, but I thought they were having an issue with one of their players. But I think even though the Niners do have my favorite tight end in the entire game, um, George Kittle, I love that dude. But I honestly think the Giants can pull this one off.
Really?
I think they have a chance.
Ooh. To me, this is another toss-up because now with Salah, he's back in San Francisco. Am I right?
Hmm.
And that defense, man.
But unless something happens, we're going to have a veteran quarterback that will be able to handle the crazy stuff. I'm old school in the way when I watch football, I know you draft a quarterback to play. I like, I don't mind, and I have no problem with the Giants sitting the rookie quarterback for a full season or playing him in certain situations, like when the game is not in the on the line anymore, just to get him some reps. But I have no problem with him sitting. I mean, that's where they used to do it in the old school, and I have no problem with it. So I think that you're still going to see uh, Wilson as the starting quarterback. So he's gonna know what to do. He's been there and done that. I mean, he's been to the Super Bowl.
Call me. I'm going with you on. You know what? Hearing that argument that makes me think, you know what? I think maybe they can pull out a win.
Yeah.
And that may make me sound crazy, but and overall, San Francisco, they're good, but they're kind of hit and miss though, too. So yeah, maybe this will be an upset win.
It could be.
All right. Now we're going to Chi-Town, home of Stop as they play Da Bears. So what's your Da thoughts?
My
Okay, wait, I'm gonna
thoughts
stop that before you
are
smack me.
my thoughts are Caleb Williams is going to throw for an easy 550 yards and 4 touchdowns. No, he'll probably throw for about a buck 40. And speaking of Caleb Williams, there's that new book that's coming out where that doesn't paint him in the greatest of pictures. He kind of really didn't want to be in Chicago. Um, but anyway, I think the Giants are going to pull out a win on this one.
Now I think they can beat Chicago. Chicago
Yeah,
is
I
kind
think
of
they
a
can beat
mess.
Chicago.
Chicago's a mess. They're gonna have some new coach, you know, some bugs to work out. So I think they're gonna Darwin. They're gonna get Darwin. Okay, Jeff, I promise I'll stop. Because I know he
Now
probably
you
wants
gotta,
to hit me with something right now, but
I
okay.
gotta hit you with some cheese we get from our next opponents.
Okay, this is for the patch, man. Giants and the Packers.
Giants at home. Ooh. Can they pull off 3 wins in a row? It's possible. When we have a good veteran quarterback presence, my
Okay.
hopes go way up. If we were coming into the season with Daniel Jones again, I wouldn't give it much hope. Got to keep hope alive, as Al Bundy once said. Um,
So you think they can win this one?
I they definitely have a good shot, but can they?
Yeah,
This I can't give an answer yes or no on this one. This is like a jump ball, really.
Jordan Love's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
So
Jordan Love is a very good quarterback. Assuming he's not injured.
you
Jordan
know
Love
what?
versus
I think the Giants are gonna lose this one.
yeah, because unfortunately the next game coming up after that, I don't see a win either.
Yeah, me neither, because Detroit is a
But everybody thinking they were going to win this, be not only in but win the Super Bowl,
I was hoping for that, to be honest.
or at least be in the Super Bowl.
I think they're gonna lose this one. Hate to say it. You,
Which one against the Packers
Detroit
or the Lions?
Lions.
Oh yeah, in Detroit, yeah.
What did you have them winning or losing against Green Bay? I'm sorry.
I really didn't have it. I couldn't get that one. I couldn't give an answer to. That was such a toss up. They could win, they could lose. I really don't know. That's a tough one to answer.
You had to pick one right now, on May 15th, in this year of our Lord
If I had to pick one
2025.
right now, um, I would go with the Packers just because I know what Jordan Love brings to that team. I don't know what Russell Wilson's going to bring to the Giants yet.
So,
We'll go with the Packers.
okay. New England in Foxborough.
Well, I'm going to
I
go
think
with
they
the
can
Giants
win.
win. Yeah, me
Oh,
too. I'm
me
going to go
too.
with a win on this one.
I think they can win this.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the Patriots didn't have a blowaway season last year either. So, and this is going to be a Monday night game.
Yes, it is December 1st.
You know,
Okay. I just have to say it. Because if I don't say it, Jeff, no one else will. I don't like that we have a bye this late in the season. Week 14.
oh yeah, yeah. That's our bye week.
Yeah, I don't like that we have a bye this late in the season, Jeff. What do you think?
No, I think it would have been nice. Uh, I don't know maybe right after the Chicago game would have been a nice halfway point. Either right
But
after the Bears or after the Packers. Probably after
because
the Bears game.
because you know what they were probably thinking. They're probably thinking, okay, you know what? They got no international games this year.
Thank
No,
God.
they're not, the last three seasons they played holiday games, like they played Thanksgiving, and then the next year they played on Christmas, and then this
Yeah,
past year they played on Thanksgiving again.
yeah. They had
So,
like overseas where it was in Germany, right? And
yes.
Frankfurt. Of all the well, we'll get into. I just saw a walking tour of Frankfurt. Let's just say I'm not taking a walking tour of Frankfurt myself.
But anyway, but no, I think why they probably had to buy this late because they're probably thinking, listen, the Giants, they're not playing any international games this year. They're not playing
Mhm.
any, they're not playing any holiday games. They're not playing on Thanksgiving. They're not playing on Christmas. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not playing their they're yeah, no international games, no holiday games. They're only playing one Sunday night game. They're playing one Thursday night game, and they're only playing one Monday night game. So
Hmm.
we might as well give them a late bye.
Yeah. And then
So
coming off hopefully a win going into then the bye coming into another home game against the Commanders.
what do you think?
I I think they'll I think they'll actually split the season with the Commanders this
I
year.
think so too, actually, because
Though
I
I do
think
think they'll
after
still lose the first game, but I think by that week, by the time they hit them, the team that they'll be the team that they are. And I have some good hopes, and I think they're going to pull off a win. They'll at least be at home. The home crowd advantage, the home field advantage in Washington, um, won't be there. And
you know,
and I as a person, as a player, I do like Jaden Daniels. Would have been great if we got him the year before. I think he's one of those young quarterbacks um, that has a bright future, very bright future. Um, he's not my favorite young quarterback, but just on a human being level, that would go to CJ Stroud. And that pains me as he played quarterback for the Ohio State.
I hate
But
Ohio State too.
person to
Don't
person,
worry.
you can't find a better person, I think, in the NFL than CJ Stroud. But Jaden seems like a top tier dude too. So but I think he'll be losing that game.
Okay, okay. You ready for? I think they're gonna. I think they can split that series too. Okay, next against the Minnesota Vikings.
They're Swedish.
Well, Minnesota sort of has a big Scandinavian. Never
I think
mind.
I think more Norwegian,
Minnesota.
like like Norwegian, like Vikings and black metal and Viking metal and like Amon Amarth and
I
bands like that and Mayhem. I could see that. They got to get those bands involved somehow. But here's another one that kills me because they're going to have JJ McCarthy as their starting quarterback. Love JJ McCarthy because he went to my favorite college team, the Michigan Wolverines. But because he's essentially a rookie. I mean, he's had the year to sit and watch and learn.
yeah, but I
But
think
on the
he
field
could
playing, he's still
possibly
a
be
rookie.
shaky. I think he
Then
could
again,
possibly be.
he has the best quarterback in the league, or the best wide receiver rather in the league.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
Do you trust the pass rush?
on paper, yes. I think the Giants can pull out a victory at home against the Vikings on this one.
I think so too, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, and then guess what? We are going to Sin City against the Las Vegas Raiders of Oakland. What you think?
Um, until the Raiders can prove something, I got to go with the Giants on this one.
I think the Giants are taking four in a row.
I gotta believe. I have to believe. There's
Okay.
two things I believe in. I believe in the Giants winning these four in a row, and I believe in saying his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. It's a different reference that my wrestling fans will understand, but I believe that the Giants will win four in a row.
Okay. Now, the last one, Week 18 versus Dallas. I hate to say it. I think they're going to split first Dallas.
It's totally possible with this one. And here's the thing, it's the last game of the season. If neither team are in the playoffs, they're going to bench their starters. If the Giants somehow are in the playoff hunt and are in the playoffs by this week, and the Cowboys need to win to get in, do the Giants sit their starters anyway? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
It's totally. I don't know if it's. I don't even know if it's feasible for all four teams in the same division to be in the playoffs. I don't know. But this one. It's the end of a season, and this would suck though for the Giants to go out losing their the end of the season at home against the Cowboys. But maybe the Cowboys learn something from their first loss and take advantage of that, and there's this the second time around and win the game. And in the last games of the season are kind of a toss up at times for many teams and many games. It feels like a preseason game.
Yeah, because there's really no stakes. It depends on what happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're in the playoffs, they're going to bench the entire starting team probably for the entire game. And if they're not in it, what's the point of starting them? To pad any stats? Who like I could care less. I mean, I'll watch the game no matter who's playing, but I
So,
think the
what are you
Cowboys
picking?
could win. I think the Cowboys will win this one because Giants. I'm picturing hopefully Giants are in playoff mode and they can bench us some of their starters. That's my hope, and so that's why I'm going to assume that the Giants will lose because they're not playing their starters.
Oh, I'm just counting. I'm just doing some tallying. 4-5, 5-5, 5-6, 5-7, 6-7, 7-7, 8-7, 9-7. No, okay, we both have them going 9-8.
Winning record, it's feasible to get into the playoffs with a 9-8 record.
We both have the Giants going 9-8.
They have to show improvement because if they come out and end the season as pathetic as last year, forget about it.
Now, I want to ask you something, Jeff, before we wrap things up here.
Yeah,
Is Brian Dable and Joe Shane's job on the line this year?
no.
If you asked me before the draft, I would say yes.
Before, yeah,
Now I'm kind of unsure.
if they hadn't picked up a quarterback in the first round like they did, and they're going to give Dable some time to work with the guy.
They got them at least another year after this year.
They got to give him this year because you never know. At some point, he's going to get the start. I I
Because
I can't see Wilson playing the whole year for one reason or another. He's either going to get hurt and they're going to start Jackson Dart. But then again, what happens with Jameis Winston, who could throw
exactly.
35 touchdowns and 35 interceptions?
But
Uh,
and here's the thing, Jeff. Are you ready? It's I think the problem we had with Daniel Jones, and listen, there were a million problems with Daniel Jones. But I think the problem with Daniel Jones was that he went through too many coaches, like a kid whose divorced dad brings home a new girlfriend every 5 minutes. Because you had Pat Shermer, Joe Judge, and then Brian Dable. I think with the Giants here, why I think Dable and Shane have bought themselves at least another year after this year
yeah,
is because Jackson Dart is going to need stability.
yeah. I think he'll have this season and next season.
He's going to need stability. And I think why I think them drafting a quarterback was such a good idea was because, okay, because when Brian Dable came to the Giants and he had Daniel Jones was basically the leftovers.
Yeah.
Now they have their own guy. Brian Dable now has his own guy to mold, his own guy to develop. So that's why I think we're going to be, I think, I don't think Dable and Shane's jobs are on the line this
Yeah.
year.
And they should have fired the GM the second they hired the second they drafted Daniel Jones, because there was a guy that nobody heard of. I never heard of him. And I mean, I don't pay the closest attention to college football. I mean, I know who the big guys are, the big name players, but you could have heard a collective, who is this guy? Um, when they drafted him. And at least with Jackson Dart, everybody knew who he was. He was rising up through the ranks, through the combine and everything, and his name was being thrown around there as one or two people I heard had him as the second quarterback. Most people had him as the third ranked quarterback in the draft, but they had him going first, maybe very early second round anyway. Um, so yeah, they're going to have to give him this season and next season. And at the end of next season, if they're still, they don't have to be Super Bowl winners by next season.
At least be competitive.
At least be in the competition. At least be, at least be 10 or 11 wins by the end of next season. And then their jobs are secure. At least be in the playoffs. I mean, with 10, 11 wins, you're going to be in the playoffs, I would imagine. I mean, in the NFC East, it's kind of hard to say because, the not so much the Cowboys anymore, but with the Eagles and the Redskins, I'm sorry, the Commanders, um, there's they definitely have a good chance of those two teams being in the playoffs. So they could be the third team.
Like I said, if the Giants go 9-8, or heck, even if they go 8-9, I'm not okay. 9-8, I will, even if they miss the playoffs, I will consider the season a success.
Yeah, a winning record. Yeah,
And I know
get
that's
us
kind
get
of a
at least a
low
winning record.
bar, but the last two seasons have been so abysmal.
Yeah,
My expectations are low.
yeah. I mean, just
Folks, just
looking.
keep your expectations low. Don't expect to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy this
Yeah.
year.
I mean, we got to assume they're going to lose the series to the Eagles, and we can only hope within our division they split the rest between the other two teams.
So just keep everyone, don't get your hopes too high.
Yeah, beat the teams you should be beating, and let's go from there. Like the
Okay.
Patriots, the Bears, um, teams like that. Go and beat them. Go beat the Raiders. Go beat those guys. You have to. You can't. And I think that it's now time to. I'm hoping they just. And the other thing is, after the season Malik Neighbors has, every team is going to double team them.
Yes.
So they're going to have to work in their other receivers, their tight ends, get the ball out. Stay healthy. That's the big key. Have a good pass rush. I'm really excited. I mean, they did Thibodeau's 5th-year option, so he's going to be playing for his big contract. So I'm assuming he's going to have a big year. Um, can our O line stay healthy? A lot of ifs.
A lot of ifs. And you know what? Like I said, folks, it's only May. When the season gets closer, we'll have a more clearer picture. Okay, everyone. Jeff, thank you for joining me as always for this.
Anytime.
If you want to know, if you want more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, check out our history. Check us out here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. And also, check us out wherever you get your podcast. For Jeff Knapp, I'm Bill Corpus, Chris B. Murphy. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, and let's go Big Blue.